Oh boy, am I excited! We're only a couple of weeks away from Batman and Superman in the CGI splooge fest of the year! What a time to be alive, people, when a movie and a video game can look exactly the same! After the disappointing reception of Superman 3 and the financial flop of Supergirl, the Superman producers Alexander and Ilya Salkind feared their superhero series to be dead in the water. That is, until the Israeli saviors themselves, Golan and Globus of the Cannon Group, saved the day by purchasing the rights and proving that one more film was needed to put a bullet in this series. With an original budget of $36 million, the price was slashed to $17 million. A high budget for Cannon, a craft service table for a movie blockbuster. Cannon reached far above their typical low-budget fare and hoped that a successful Superman film would pave the way for a Cannon Spider-Man film and a Superman 5. The success of this film could also gain Cannon a little bit of momentum after a string of financial flops. So how did Superman 4 turn out? I'm reviewing it on this show. How do you think it turned out? Star Christopher Reeve was originally skeptical of the film, but signed on when he was allowed to co-write the story, which involves Superman dissolving the world's dependency on nuclear weapons, plus Reeve could gain financing for his other 1987 film, Street Smart. Sidney J. Furie was signed on to direct. Furie also directed the 1982 horror film, The Entity, which explains the awkward scene where Superman is raped by a ghost. At first glance, you can see the budget limitations, from reused effects from previous films to reused effects over and over within the same film. Hell, all you need for an example of budget cutting is the opening credits. Remember the epic feeling of the previous Superman opening credits? Take a look at Superman 4's credits. Wow, excellent PowerPoint presentation on the Superman credits. Now where's the real intro? The logo looks like it's about to brand cattle in the ass. The names are hiding behind the earth as not to be seen by the public. If the credits go fast enough, maybe they can reverse time and stop this from happening. Though in superhero movies, I like both my heroes and my music to have courage. Cannon definitely went a different direction here. The movie opens with a butt plug in space. Just in case you didn't know the cosmonauts were from Texas. They're hit by dueling sex toys, and the Russian version of Gravity doesn't have nearly as impressive 3D. Luckily, Superman just happens to be there, almost like he caused this disaster to begin with. Ah, come on, at least let him run into Ghost George Clooney first. I can feel Neil deGrasse Tyson live tweeting this movie as we speak. How are you talking? When Clark returns, he accidentally travels back to 1955. Oh, this is heavy. He goes to his old barn to reminisce about the time he accidentally killed the cheerleader with his supercock. So Superman's the one who's been keeping all the surge to himself before its re-release. This is actually a message to Superman from his mother, Lara.
You are entering the atmosphere of the planet known as Earth. I pray you have made a safe journey.
I think you're 4 movies too late to be receiving this message. He also gets a delayed birthday present via this Kryptonian energy module. Looks like a toy Slimer used to fuck his wife. What's with the sex toys in this film? That's not the kind of toy line you should be promoting! While there's a prospective buyer for the family farm, Clark puts on his glasses so he can look like buff Louis Skolnick. Here he's impressing the buyer with the giant package he's carrying in his pants. Superman 4, The Quest for Dicks. And having unfair baseball advantages. And then the ball hit the moon, blew it up, and we all died. Meanwhile, as Royal Tenenbaum is serving his sentence for a Ponzi scheme... Oh wait, it's Lex Luthor. Oh, John Cryer, you want the auditions for Zack Snyder's Lex Luthor. You seem to be what they were looking for. John plays Lex's nephew Lenny, who easily drives up to the chain gang and traps the only guards in his car so they can reenact the end of A Nightmare on Elm Street. The cast and crew often referred to this as an unfinished film. Can you tell?
Launch. Right.
There's a lot of things missing from that sequence. One is an explosion, the other is a good movie. And the most unbelievable thing about this is that they still survived. Don't worry, in later movies they would make up for this one's lack of body count from a scale of 9 to 11. Now Lex has a new partner and everyone's favorite stalker, Ducky. Look at this, they couldn't even afford for Margot Kidder and Christopher Reeve to take the same train. Or this guy's pacemaker either. It's okay, Superman stops the train in this totally necessary scene.
He'll be alright. I think he needs a doctor.
Holy crap, Superman is the secret identity of Captain Obvious! But we wouldn't want to make the subway systems look bad.
I'd like all the people back there to know that our subway system is still the safest and most reliable means of public transportation. Thank you.
But their screening process for drivers is a little questionable. The Daily Planet has currently been taken over by a tabloid tycoon, and its new editor is Lacey Warfield, played by Muriel Hemingway. It almost feels like the Daily Planet was bought out by Canon.
What I have here are some mock copies of our new layout. It's super, don't you think?
If you think I'm gonna let you turn this grand old lady into one of your bimbos...
If this were a much smarter film, I'd look at that as some kind of self-aware nudge and a wink. Then again, she is wearing one of the disco balls from the Apple. The president cuts in with a message that the US and the Soviet Union will be engaged in a nuclear war. It's a message so important, it's immediately shut off in one classroom, so lines like this can be said.
I'll make a suggestion. Why don't we write to our congressman?
Great idea if you want him to do jack shit. Speaking of ideas, Lex's master plan is to steal a strand of Superman's hair, which he was dumb enough to put in a museum to hang on a giant pendulum ball. It's okay, it's protected by breakaway glass, and while it's strong enough to hold 1,000 pounds, a simple household tool will cut that sucker down. One thing I can count on with Canon, it'll bring the sexy.
Yeah, hi, Clark. Please come in. I've come up with what I think is a brilliant idea.
I want you to fuck me with that Kryptonian energy module, Clark. Stop trying to distract me with my erection cannon. That only works 80% of the time. The sex is interrupted by a child's letter from the classroom that didn't even watch the president's speech.
I don't care if everybody thinks I'm a space cadet. Once you've destroyed all the nuclear missiles in the world, they'll see I was right. Superman can make sure we don't blow ourselves up quick and easy.
That is, unless you're in a 7-Eleven when Superman blows it up by flying Zod into it. Oh, I'm sorry! Am I making fun of a movie you like? Superman, however, doesn't show up to meet the kid. In other words... Okay, yes, Superman did say that, but the little shit threw a baseball through a window of the Fortress of Solitude. Speaking of which, that's where Superman goes to meet the ghost of Jacob Marley.
Betrayed, betrayed, betrayed.
And he is very upset about the XCOM trailer. Superman is told to let Earth handle its own problems. And what the fuck is he doing here in the first place? He wants to get advice from Lois, but better to give her a fucking heart attack by jumping off the roof. Seriously, she could have died from shock. But at least this way, he can show her the green screen world. Shining, shimmering, chroma keyed. He's also resisting the urge to look down at her cleavage. When they return, Lois forgets all about this, but notices his other identity, James Bond. Superman does meet up with the child, but the important thing in this scene is that they left the poor hot dog vendor hanging. Pay him his money! Superman is here to accept his Oscar, but unfortunately is passed up for Mark Rylance. Actually, this is the United Nations, or at least it's supposed to be.
What's he gonna say?
Something wonderful.
What we call drugs at 74th Street Baptist Church, we call us sin, sin, sin.
Yeah, wait, what? Show me what he really said!
I'm going to do what our governments have been unwilling or unable to do. Effective immediately, I'm going to rid our planet of all nuclear weapons.
And then Fox News did round-the-clock coverage calling him a Nazi Marxist socialist dictator who is assaulting their Second Amendment rights. Apparently, we were seconds away from the ending of Dr. Strangelove as everyone shoots their nuclear weapons into space for Superman to catch in a giant net. Space nets aren't that big. And then the final scene from Knowing happened, and we all died. But there is something about having Gene Hackman here that elevates the material.
Look, you guys. I know you're all choked up, kind of overcome with joy at the fact that Superman has ended the arms race.
He just spoke a line about Superman entering an arms race, and I still feel like I want to give him an Oscar. By the way, who knew that in 1987 we already had our Batman-Superman crossover? That's Lieutenant Eckhart! Lex's plan is to use the sun to create a nuclear man, while still maintaining dignity standing next to John Cryer, filming his own Oingo Boingo video.
You know what this means, Uncle Art?
What?
We're gonna be parents.
Lenny Luthor really wants to marry his uncle. So all the ingredients to make a nuclear man is placed in this one shuttle, and luckily Superman happens to still be in space, so he throws it right into the sun. This time, however, it's created the greatest hair metal frontman of all time. Oh, the sword of Damocles is hanging over his head. I got a feeling someone's gonna be cutting the thread. Oh, woe is me. Superman 4 was originally a 2-hour-plus film, but it was cut down to 90 minutes to squeeze in more showtimes at movie theaters, plus the deleted footage could potentially be used for a fifth film. One of those deleted sequences was a prototype nuclear man played by Clive Mantle, who is instantly defeated before Mark Pillow's introduction as the second nuclear man. And it's no dumber than anything else in the film. Not sure why it was cut. Because we really needed this scene of Clark Kent pretending to work out.
Are you okay?
Need some help?
You just sit down, all right?
I guess your friend doesn't know his own strength.
Get it? 'Cause he's actually very strong. He only gives a shit when Lacey sees him working out. Everyone else, though?
Oh, sure. Here. No pain, no gain?
Yeah, fuck that guy's ribs. Meanwhile, Lex is busy attending the annual Hunger Games. Seriously, who the fuck is that? But his creation arrives. While Nuclear Man had a good musical number earlier, it's gonna get awkward when Lex has to sing I Can Make You a Man. Nuclear Man is actually on his way to the Masters of the Universe auditions. Honest mistake. But Lex is very proud of his creation.
The power of the sun has given him internally generated heat.
And you also have cancer. Then something amazing happens.
What's that? Oh no.
Nuclear Man becomes the real hero of this film. Sort of. He doesn't actually kill Lenny Luthor. And his voice sounds slightly familiar.
You are nothing. I am the father now. You have my voice. No. You have my voice.
Makes sense. Gene is the best actor in the film. Might as well have him voice other characters. Better than this guy's voice.
Everybody's a winner around here. It's gotta be me. Wow, I'm breakdancing. Hey.
Okay, it's not that I think that Lenny is a better fit for a movie like Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. It's just that I want to see him go to hell. Nice place you got here. Lots of space. The ladies are preparing for their double date / interview with Superman, also attended by Clark Kent, who Lacey has a mad crush on.
Hi, Lacey.
Hi, Clark.
Say, could you make a 20?
And who Clark treats like a whore! So why in God's name would Clark schedule a double date with both he and Superman in the same location? Oh, it's so distractions can happen, like burning the turkey, leaving to pay for a cab, getting caught by luggage, having the power of teleportation, because apparently this is a fucking sitcom now. I don't know what his endgame in this scenario is. Thank God Lex threatens to blow up the Empire State Building.
This is my nephew, Lenny. He worships me.
The dude of steel. Boy, are you gonna get it.
Okay, please, snap his neck.
It's common knowledge that you hate children and animals, Luther.
Is this something the American people often talk about? An evil mastermind's hatred of children and animals? The movie follows superhero rules of prison escapees. When someone escapes prison, they're simply free to go home so long as they don't commit any more crimes. But a crime is definitely being committed. Nuclear Man steals Superman's romantic move of badly falling off a building with someone. And they're copying each other's stock special effects. When Nuclear Man goes around destroying things, it is still more convincing than bad CGI. Superman is detained, though, when he's turned into a fantastic engagement ring for Lord Xenu. Seriously, why do you think he's jumping into the volcanoes? We gotta get this party started. Once freed, however, Superman blows out the lava to save this town of 12. But I guess he couldn't blow out the volcano top, so he had to cork it with another mountain. When the movie opened with sex toys, I didn't know it'd be a volcano that got its ass plugged. At least we're finally seeing that deleted outer space critic versus Dr. Insano fight. It's almost finished when, great, what are the Ghostbusters up to now? Aha, falling chess pieces from the sky. Woohoo, they're safe. Let's get this to the Cloverfield set stat. Superman has many powers, but the power of manicure is not one of them. Will lack of impressive nails be his downfall?
Okay. This time you have both gone too far.
Don't worry, the power of David A.R. White will prove that Superman's not dead, and it'll be really bigoted for some reason. What they should be wondering is why Clark and Superman disappeared for their double date at the same time. It's because they were fucking each other. Unfortunately, Nuclear Man scratched Superman on the neck during nuclear flu season. He's gonna need some Kryptonian Sudafed, or get chastised by Lois.
You haven't been to work. You haven't called the office. You haven't even called me back.
Does he look like he's in any condition to push you off a rooftop? At least she leaves him Superman's cape, plus a big fat steak. And Lex's dream has come true, to build a giant fort made out of money. Superman 4 has definitely succeeded in giving us a look at the Trump presidency.
My first official act, of course, is to say, "You're fired!"
Oh good, now RoboCop is free to kill them. I don't think I ever took into account just how much this long shoot truly aged Christopher Reeve. Don't worry, he'll stick this up the nearest hooker and he'll be just fine. Speaking of aging, I see one Nuclear Man who's finally reached puberty. Oh, you're gonna want that Mariel Hemingway Playboy spread. Nuclear Man is setting fire to the entire set. Good thing these Burger King patties are already flame-broiled. Although it's hard for me to get angry here, I'm getting real explosions, melted weapons, and a guy floating out of a SWAT van spinning like a top, just like the old days, when movies used to pick the most expensive alternative to using an elevator. Superman figures out Nuclear Man's one weakness, being trapped in the elevator. He's extremely claustrophobic, so he takes him up to the moon in the worst malfunction the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror ride ever faced. Wait a minute. The shadow that the flag is leaving is 2 degrees off from how lunar cloth is supposed to reflect light. This isn't filmed on the moon at all! Oh boy, did Superman fans hate this movie. But if you put both of these characters in Godzilla costumes, this would be a classic that I'm watching. Ugh, I'm tired of seeing Nuclear Man be a genuine threat to Superman. Bring in Mark Zuckerberg to do a Joker impression. And then interrupt the action with newsroom talk.
Tone down our headlines. Lacey, that's all a common man reads.
Well, we could do with a little less sensationalism.
Less sensational papers go broke.
So then you don't want me to submit my article, 30 Things You Never Noticed About Krull That Will Ruin Your Childhood? Lacey is kidnapped, but Superman takes the time out to put the flag back first, 'cause priorities. He uses the moon to block out the sun, not even wondering how in the fuck Lacey's still alive, obviously making her a secret Kryptonian. I'm too distracted by Space Lacey to worry that the tidal waves have blocked out all life on Earth. Nuclear Man powers down from non-exposure to the sun, so come nightfall he would be dead anyway. Not to be outdone by James Bond dropping Blofeld in a smokestack, Superman drops Nuclear Man into a nuclear power plant, causing this to happen. So that's how we got the cover of Visiting Hours. Playing Nuclear Man was the only film appearance for actor Mark Pillow, and there's a logical explanation behind that. Superman really did kill him. So I guess Superman does kill people. For saving the day, Superman is invited by President Horse to give a rousing speech to the public.
And there will be peace. There will be peace when the people of the world want it so badly that their governments will have no choice but to give it to them. I just wish you could all see the Earth the way that I see it.
And then Fox News dedicated round-the-clock coverage to Superman saluting with a latte. Lex has resorted to Plan B, winning the great race, until Superman interferes with this plan too. Not sure why he's dropping a 20-something-year-old man off at a boys' school, but I'm sure Lex can hang out here till he escapes again.
It's as it always was, on the brink, with good fighting evil. See you in 20.
Actually, 19 years to be exact, when Superman is played by Christopher Reeve's clone, and Lois Lane is played by a 14-year-old. And thus ends Superman 4, The Quest for Poor box office. Superman giving a smile to the camera is okay, I guess, but it's no open-mouth kiss in front of the smoldering ruins of a city. Canon Films promised us a lot with Superman 4. Campy action, 80s Cold War themes, physical comedy, cheesy special effects, and some impressive model work. And what the fuck? It gave us all of those things. Boo! While the hectic and budget-cutting shoot was a stress on all the actors and crew involved, at least when it came time to promote the film, they all banded together to win the hearts of those who would purchase a ticket.
So the movie, how is it? Is it a good movie?
Yeah.
Well, I, for one, am convinced. I want to see more of that promotion in action. Hey, you, over there. Is Paranoia a good movie? Yeah. Excellent, thank you. And you, is Superman 4 a good movie? Fuck no! Well, you can't please everybody, I guess. The film was such a flop with critics and audiences that the readers of Empire magazine voted it as number 40 of the worst films ever made. I've actually got a response to that. And much of the cast let their feelings known, with Christopher Reeve blaming the movie's underperformance with wrecking his career, and it did very little to regenerate the Canon brand. But, you know, the movie serves its purpose in letting people debate which is the better Superman film, Superman 4 or Man of Steel. And Man of Steel fans can say, only an idiot would think Superman 4 is the better movie, and Superman 4 defenders can always respond with, yeah, well, at least Superman 4 is canon.
Don't
be silly. All men like me. I'm very, very rich.